This video focuses on a key street photography skill, layering shots. It's not easy, so much is out of your control, but when it works, it's magical and fun. After visiting India, I traveled to Hanoi, Vietnam, a city I'd never photographed before. And in this episode, you'll see me layering shots, and I explain how I captured them and offer tips to improve your own work. As usual, I was shooting with my Leica Q3 paired with the Godox V350 flash, which I triggered wirelessly using the Godox X3 remote. So the plan was to walk to this pond that is in the middle of the city, because I was figuring that in the early morning there's probably some activity going on. So on my way there I saw some people playing badminton in the middle of the street, which was on the pavement, and I figured I'd grab a few shots. Nothing special, just to get warmed up, because also in it's the same like in sports and street photography, you have to warm up in order to get loosen up and to perform your best.
Hello.
Alright, so yeah, like I said, nothing groundbreaking, but it helped me to get into the right mindset for later on. Now, when I finally got to the pond, just as I hoped, there was plenty going on. I noticed a man doing some really odd looking exercise, so maybe it was some martial arts that I'm not familiar with, but yeah, I had to take a shot. So the idea was to get close and to make it look strange by only showing his back and the hands in the frame and in a very weird angle. So you know, if you look at the photo, that it's something is off here. So that was the idea behind the shot. Then as I kept walking, I started feeling really excited to shoot that day. So I got into this really good mood, and probably you know what I mean. You have this feeling that today stuff will just work. So alright, then I noticed a group of people all dressed in the same way, posing for a group shot. I got into position and I waited for something to happen, something to make the scene a little bit more interesting and more dynamic. So when the photographer pointed in one direction with his arm, I thought that's the best moment, and I took a shot. I hung around for a little bit longer, but nothing else really developed, so I moved on. A few minutes later, I stumbled upon this great layered scene. There were some nicely dressed people taking photos while an elderly lady was working out. And the idea was I waited for the woman on the left staring at her phone, and when she finally lifted the phone to take a photo, it was time for me to take the shot that I wanted. I thought maybe there's another shot here, so I waited a little bit more, but nothing really happened, and suddenly everyone just left, so the scene basically dissolved itself, so I kept moving on. Next up, I walked over to the temple. That one actually is not for free, so you have to buy a ticket to get in. I bought the ticket, then I walked in, and there was not much going on, but there were some people taking pictures of a cat. And that was already a solid scene, but I waited until others entered the frame as well, just to give the photo a little bit more depth. After taking the photo, I tried to get a few more shots, but the scene really lost its magic, so I moved on.
Well, I could now move into the old town here, but I think I will stick around the pond and walk on the other side. I have not been yet.
I have to say that the pond made for a really great backdrop, and then suddenly I spotted this elderly gentleman nicely dressed up with a cool hat sitting on a bench. And I thought, hey, maybe there's a shot here, because next to him there were people taking portraits of each other with a phone. So I thought, hey, maybe I can incorporate them and maybe build it up as a triangle. So even though they don't belong together, most likely. And just right after I took the photo, the guy suddenly spat on the ground, man. Oh my god, it's a little bit gross, but yeah. So I moved on. After walking for a bit more, I saw these workers doing some gardening, and I took a shot, but that didn't really work out. So I thought maybe I should change my position and use the pond as a backdrop, because it makes for a much cleaner backdrop, so I did that. There was a lot going on, to be honest, so I had to be really patient for the right moment.
So sometimes it's not easy to get the layers that you want, because one element is shifting and then the whole composition doesn't work, and you have to readjust. Yeah, so sometimes you get unlucky. Sometimes also you get lucky, of course, but this place is awesome, man. Let's continue here.
Now then, while I was walking a little further down the way, I saw these two kids running with a huge umbrella, and it actually looked like a cool scene, so of course I wanted to capture it, so I did. But to be honest, the photo didn't really turn out, but somehow I had this idea that maybe I should follow them, maybe there will be something else coming up, and I'm very glad that I did. Now the reason why I like this photo is because you have this boy holding the big umbrella. There's a very interesting scene. It's very dynamic. You have these expressions from the boys smiling, and then you have this girl with the tongue out. It's really funny, so I'm really glad that I followed them. I think maybe 30 seconds or so, and I took this shot, and yeah, I'm so glad. Sometimes it's good to listen to your gut feeling, because something good might happen, and in this case it did. Photographing cats, that seems to be a thing in Hanoi. Like before, I captured the scene, but I waited for another element to enter the frame to make it a little bit more interesting. It's just a tiny detail on the top left corner of the image, but I think it makes the composition more compelling overall. Let me know in the comments what you think about this style of video here. It's a little bit different than the other ones that I did, where I was shooting street photography. Where it's more like entertaining and you just watch it, and this here is more a learning experience, so I give you my input, so you'll maybe hopefully take something away from this. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos in this style, or you say nah, that's not great. Oh, and by the way, now's the time to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to do so, if you don't want to miss out on future street photography content. And also I would appreciate if you like the video, if you do so. So let's continue. If you haven't noticed yet, but this pond is a hotspot for local photography. There were so many people out there taking photos of each other. Here's another scene where I was able to incorporate that into a shot. I waited for the girls on the left side to show some kind of reaction or gesture or anything to make it more interesting. Something to strengthen the storytelling of the image. Of course I tried to get a few more shots, but the moment had passed and I moved on to the next scene. Then I saw this dog repeatedly jumping up on a guy's leg. I saw some potential in the scene, so when the kid then walked towards me, everything just clicked. And I have to say, I'm really happy how all the layers came together in this photo here.
Dog is funny.
Of course, there's always a little bit of luck involved, because like I said in the beginning, there are so many elements you have no control over, but I got lucky and I also was prepared, so I got the shot. Then of course I saw another group having their photo taken, and this time I wanted to get really close and snap a shot. Thankfully just in time to avoid the dreaded fingers of doom. Horrible. As a street photographer, absolutely horrible. It totally ruins every photo. By then the lighting got a little bit harsh, and I wanted to wait a little bit until the early afternoon to keep shooting close to the old town where all these markets are. And in the meantime, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by US HB80C RGB video light. This compact powerhouse features a built-in rechargeable battery that delivers 65 watts of output when unplugged, lasting up to 80 minutes at full power. Equipped with a standard Bowens mount, the HB80C pairs perfectly with US modifiers like the NS26L lantern softbox, instantly leveling up your lighting setup. It also has a nearly silent built-in fan that keeps the light cool during long shoots without ruining your audio. You can control it manually using onboard buttons or take full command via the newer app. The HB80C delivers the full RGB spectrum with an adjustable color temp from 2500 all the way to 7500K. and brightness from 100% all the way down to 0%. It also features 17 built-in FX modes including police lights, bonfire, TV flicker, thunderstorm, fireworks,
broken bulb, explosion, welding, candlelight bulb, explosion, thunderstorm, fireworks, strobe, welding,
and more. You can even sync the light with music or ambient sound, letting your lighting react in real time. So what are you waiting for? Check out the HB80C from Newer, your new favorite tool for creative lighting. Alright, I'm back out on the streets of Hanoi. And here I walked to this market, and I wanted to shoot in the area surrounding the market. Not the market itself, but the area surrounding it. And suddenly I saw these pigeons. Usually I'm not a fan of pigeons, but they were completely white, so I wanted to include them in a photo. But that also meant I had to get really low and really close. Maybe you've seen the episodes that I shot in Sri Lanka, and maybe you remember that I started a new project there. I was photographing these mannequins and I always included people. And when I saw these weird looking mannequins here in Hanoi, there were so many of them, I also wanted to give it a try and get some shots in here and also incorporate some people. And then I saw this guy on a motorbike and I thought, hey, this might be the moment to take the shot that I wanted. Now the market wasn't really busy because I was fairly late on the day, because I think this market shuts down some point in the afternoon. But I walked around and once in a while I came across somebody walking or driving or doing something, so this is what you see in the next shot. Alright, so I took a photo of this guy. And then I came across a group of workers chilling in front of the market building. So I waited a few minutes and I tried different compositions, and these people were like, what the hell is this guy doing? I was standing there for like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes pointing my camera in their direction, and they were just going about their business. But yeah.
Thank you.
So I walked away from the market area to another area, and then suddenly I came across this really funny duck. And that made me laugh so hard, but you better see for yourself.
Now you're shy. Hello. It's the coolest duck I've ever seen.
Isn't that the coolest and cutest duck in the world? Oh my god, that was so hilarious. So then I was back at the pond, and I spotted this sharply dressed man having a nap, and naturally, of course, I have to take a photo because it was my long-term project, taking photos of people taking a nap in public. So I did, or I was about to. And then another very well-dressed guy showed up, but in the end I liked the composition more, where I was incorporating the tourist sitting on the bench next to him. So I incorporated him taking a nap with the tourist as sort of a juxtaposition. So I could have taken a photo with the other guy, nicely dressed guy, and I did, but it's nice, but I think the other composition I like more because of the juxtaposition in the shot.
Dreaming.
On weekends, all the roads around this pond are usually closed off for traffic, so there's only pedestrians around and some cyclists. And I think this is a reason why it's so busy and packed, absolutely packed to the rafters. And that's why it's also great for photography. There's a lot going on. And then I spotted these kids driving around in these electric vehicles, and I saw this one kid in a tank, and I had to take a shot. I tried to get a few more shots, but the background was so busy and there was so much going on, so I couldn't get a really good composition, so I moved on. Now, if you want to lift up your street photography and learn how to use flash in the streets, check out my ultimate guide to flash in street photography video course that will give you everything that you need to know to get started using flash in the streets, or if you have already used flash, it will also give you tips how to improve that, how to get better while using flash. I'm doing this since many years and I think it's the best accessory that I've ever bought for my camera is a flash, because it makes things so much easier. You don't have to rely too much on environmental lighting, and also it makes your photos stand out because they look very different when you use flash. So if you're interested, the link will be in the video description and also in the pinned comment under this video. So let's get right back into the action here. So between the old town and the pond, there's actually this small area, it's like a plaza or something, where there's usually a lot of people, and almost all of them take photos. I don't know why they picked this spot. I don't see anything that's particularly nice about this place or whatever, so I have no idea. Maybe it's a historical place to do that, who knows. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I was walking around there trying to get some shots, but because it was so busy, it was really difficult to get a good composition. But then I spotted this guy. He got sunscreen applied by his girlfriend, so of course I had to take a shot, and it took it some time, so I had time to get a shot. And I think even though the background is very busy, I think it still works because the flash makes him stand out more. Without the flash he would blend in with the background more, but the flash makes him pop out. To maybe prevent to see the background, I could have taken the camera and taken the shot from a lower angle, but the issue is here in that scene, the arm of the girl would have blocked off his face, so I had no chance, so I could not get lower in order to see his face in the photo. So that's why I had to take the photo on eye level, not lower the camera. So then after this shot I tried to actually get shots from a lower angle, and I came across this group where this girl holding the dog and then the small boy he didn't seem really interested, and this other group taking a selfie. So I took one of them from a lower angle. I think this actually works. It's not the best photo of the day, but it's okay. But then I saw these two dogs that almost looked like twins, and I knew I had to take a shot. So and the girl in the frame, she was totally absorbed by her phone, which actually works out in this composition. Usually I'm not a fan of this, but I think here it works. As you can already see here, this whole area is already in the shade because the sun was already very low and there wasn't that much time left until sunset, maybe 1 or 2 hours. So I decided to go to the other side of the pond that was still lit up by the sun. And while I was walking around there, I noticed a mother with a toddler on a leash. I mean, it's not something you see often, so of course I had to take a photo because it looks so bizarre to me. I've seen it before, but it's been a long time, so that looks so bizarre. I had to take a photo, of course. After taking this one shot, I waited a little bit longer because I wanted to get another shot while they were moving. So as soon as they got up from the bench, I took this next shot. And also I wanted to mention that since 2 weeks or so, I'm back on Instagram. I regularly post on Instagram again after, I don't know, 2 or 3 years where I post maybe 5 times in total, so not much. All right, next week I have something really exciting for you, and it's actually inside of this bag here right now, and it could potentially be yours. So whatever it is inside, I don't want to spoil it, but it could potentially be yours. So come back next week and watch my video next week and you will find out what it is, and one of you will be very happy, I guess. I see you in the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.